Welcome to We Are the Remedy, where each week we highlight a person from the community who embodies the idea of people helping people.
California, and
What was the impact to you on that? Was that?
I was too young to understand what it meant. You know what I
Right.
mean?
I do.
So I went with the flow.
Yeah.
I went with the flow. Like here I am. I was one age higher in
Right.
all my classes.
So you were bigger than most of the kids,
Yeah.
more mature.
Yeah.
Okay.
And but I mean that didn't set me back. The only thing that set me back was my own limitations that I had on myself.
Right.
I didn't believe that I was good enough. I didn't fit into certain groups.
Right.
And I was bullied for a while. I was called names. I was literally just like the names of the neighborhood that we make up for ourselves.
Yeah, sure.
Some of that stuff stuck with me.
Yeah.
And I was
What does that do to any kid, not just you? What does that do to any kid, do you think?
it puts walls up.
Right.
We put walls around our heart. Like I had a calloused heart for a long time.
Right.
And no one could get in. And when I felt hurt, like hurt people.
Right.
So I wanted to figure out how to hurt someone when I was hurt.
Right.
And it just,
You lashed out.
I lashed out for help in the community. And that looked like as if I was committing crimes just for the hell of it.
Right.
At times I used to tell people, it was safer for me being in a 4x4 cell or a 4x6 cell because in that cell I felt safe. No one could touch me.
Right. So,
And it's sad that my mind went there.
right.
But
But
it was in
you were
reality.
getting a reputation.
Yeah.
And what was that reputation doing to you?
I mean, I had street names like, J Love and street names like Candyman from being this little drug dealer that I thought I wanted to be.
Right.
I saw a lot of things on the streets that
Right.
fascinated me at a young age, and I was like, I want to be like that.
Right.
And all that stuff on top of it, joining the gang because I didn't feel like I was loved at home when I had all.
And
the
so
love.
it was like protection.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There was protection in it, right? Nobody makes fun of a guy in a gang or a woman in a gang, because you form up and maybe carry weapons or become assaultive to people because you're in fear of not getting protected. You form in order to try and protect.
Yeah.
What does that do to a kid, any kid, not just you?
It definitely sets him up for failure. I mean, for myself, it put me in a situation where I felt alone.
Right.
I abandoned myself. No one abandoned me.
What a line.
I abandoned myself. I put these limitations here because I believed all those things that people were saying to me, like when they were bullying me and all this type of stuff. Like, I set those limitations because I believed it. That's who I became.
What do you say to young people now? And I know because you're a remarkable teacher now of helping young people express artistically through music and spoken word and poetry and stuff that you teach them in order to write lyrics. What do you tell them now about what you've learned that you can teach us and all the young people out there?
I tell them just don't be afraid of stepping out there and taking a risk because you never know what can happen. Taking a risk meaning you have to try something. And when kids come into my program, I do an icebreaker where I ask them to tell me something about themselves that they've never told anyone.
Right.
And in that moment.
Can you remember one that stuck with you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There was a kid that he talked about what the murder of his brother did to him, and he talked about how it did things inside of him that made him want to lash out and become this angry vessel that wanted to run around and just hurt people because no one would listen to him.
You didn't connect with that at all, right?
And then there was another kid who wrote a song, and we went live on Facebook, and in these lyrics, he talked about being bullied. He talked about what it made him feel like. He talked about what it did to him. And, he said something very important. He said, we just want the world to listen to us.
And hear our pain?
Yeah, hear our pain. And this kid was, I learned from them because,
Right.
it's just like sitting there. I designed a program that I never knew how how impactful it can be to watch another kid open up about whatever they're going through. You know.
Yes, I do.
Because
Yeah.
had I had a healthy outlet like that to express myself
Earlier.
without being judged.
Yeah. Earlier.
Without being judged and without being told you wouldn't amount to anything, or all these things that crushed my spirit, I probably would have taken a different route. But it was when I landed in state prison and all these things, I said I wish I could have done this, I wish I could have done that, all the what ifs.
Your dream life is the fact that you are now the mentor you needed in childhood.
Yeah.
Correct?
Correct.
When you started the organization, and you just said, you would have never imagined that you would have had this impact. Like, what's the difference between when you started it and what you thought would come compared to what you've now experienced having this program going?
From it being a dream at first, and I just got up and wrote out the dream, and like literally the word STOP stood out on me on a stop sign, just coming at me like this in the dream. And I was just like, whoa, I woke up and I was just like, what does that mean? STOP, stop. Like, and I thought God was like, my God was telling me, stop doing what you're doing because you're about to get, bad results.
Yeah.
And man, I just kept closing my eyes and going back to sleep. And all of a sudden that stop sign just kept coming and coming at me, but it was glistening like diamonds, the word STOP. And then I closed my eyes for the last time and the word acronym just went right by my face. And I slowed down the letters in my dream. I slowed it down. And I was like, what the hell is an acronym? You're looking at a guy who dropped out of high school to become a drug dealer and to become an addict and to try to think that he was just this big influence on the streets. Like I could tell people how to manage their lives, right? That didn't work out too well. It didn't work out too well.
Yeah.
Because once those doors shut behind me in jail and prison, man, it was just like, damn, reality check. And
But now it's the lighted path that you're teaching. Yeah.
so when I got on my phone and wrote out, I looked up what an acronym was, right? Because I didn't know what an acronym was, and it told me. And I wrote out 4 acronyms for the word stop. And the first one that stood out to me was struggling through our pain.
Wow.
Right?
Right.
That was the very first one that I wrote out.
Yeah.
And then I wrote out Surviving the Odds Project.
Wow.
And then I wrote out 2 more, and then I went back to sleep.
Wow.
And then when I woke up, I said, hey, I had a dream about this idea about a nonprofit. And I was like, if you had this idea, what would you do? And if you had a nonprofit using these acronyms, what would yours be called? She said, for you, that one. And when she circled it, it was as if I saw the record logo.
Right.
And I knew right then and there I wanted to build a program, video production, music therapy for marginalized youth. And I ran up and down the hallway happy. I started screaming, I just unlocked Pandora's box. It was the funniest thing in the world, though. But I knew in my heart in that moment that a shift had happened from a dream. And I was just like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Out
of prison, from being out of prison,
Yeah.
in your dreams, it comes to you how to unlock that. And the key to unlock the cell, to unlock the dream is the same. It is to do something good with compassion to uplift others, right? What did you learn about yourself in that process, John?
When they say follow your dreams, I'll tell you what I learned about myself was that I'm strong.
Yes.
I wasn't those names that people called me.
Right.
I wasn't that little N word that they called me all the time that you wouldn't amount to shit, is what they said. And I learned that I have a heart, I'm intelligent, and I have something to offer.
Yes, you do. And you're doing that right now. What do you think what can we as a society, as a culture, how do we solutioneer with all of the kids out there on the streets sometimes who struggle with those choices? And what have you learned about yourself internally that we need to do as a culture to help that?
The number one thing we need to do is listen.
Why is that so important? I know you're right.
The youth are trying to tell us something.
Right. In their music, in their poetry, in
They're
their
trying to tell us
lyrics.
something in their behaviors. They're trying to tell us something when they're acting out in school. They're trying to tell us something when they're coming home and they can't speak to mom or dad
Right.
about what they're going through, because first off, I was that father that always wanted to, raise my kids the way I was raised.
Right.
And sometimes that would come off as if, being raised in the South, parents were taught to spank their kids, right? When I was going to school there, they give you a paddle when you're bad in class. They spank you. The teachers have that okay, and that's how it was for me. And the norm today, raising a child and given what you were taught as a kid, I had to switch my thinking. I had to shift it. And still, it's been a challenge, So for the kids today, I mean, how we help them is, we have to listen to what these kids are going through.
Compassion as opposed to control.
Yes.
What have you learned about yourself in that journey about control?
Yeah.
I know it's hard, but it's good, man. It's good.
This
what you
is
need.
like it's spiritual. This
Yes.
whole process right
Good.
here. This whole setup here is spiritual for me because the things I learned about myself was that I had to bite a hard pill when I got into recovery. And one of the biggest pills I had to bite down on is there is a God and it is not you. Right? And then another guy said, maybe you should just hold up the sign and quit trying to control the show. Quit trying to run the show.
Yeah, right.
Right? Because there was a thing called ego with me, and it was huge. And it still, knocks on my heart, at times. And then when I was told yesterday by someone in the community where I'm building a music studio, oh, you're just an arrogant young man. Why? Because I'm passionate? I'm passionate about what I do in the community with these youth. I'm passionate about bringing a program to your community, and I know what it's worth.
Stop a second. Let me talk to everybody out there. How we talk to each other. Now, here's a good joke for you to use anytime. When we gossip about each other in the community and talk trash and put people down, I always tell people, young people especially, starting in kindergarten, use your words as shields to defend others and not as swords to hurt or wound. There was a woman who was gossiping about everybody in town. And it was toxic and mean-spirited and rude. And she went for a hike in the desert and she was bitten by a scorpion. And the scorpion died from her poison. What we're saying to all of us, and me included, watch how you talk to people.
Yeah.
Gentle out there. Gentle. When people are doing good and making a difference, watch how you speak to them. Gentle, gentle, gentle. Why is that so important, John?
So it's important because people don't understand what I go through on a daily to give back. It is so hard to get on the battlefield with these youth.
Right.
Right? It is so hard, but I do it because I love it and I believe, right? And it's important to me because at the end of the day, if I can ask myself, who did you help today? I can smile before I go to bed.
You redeemed yourself, and now you're going to redeem others, right?
Right.
And so if we talk about that for just a second, tell them what happens, because you're a wise young soul now. From the wounded, Aeschylus said, with every drop of pain on the human heart, wisdom grows. Wisdom grows. So what we're asking you to share with them is, what's the scar tissue on the wounded soul from a life inside prison for any young person? What's it like going through that in the cell blocks, on the tiers, with the guards, with the other prisoners? What's that like?
Man, you took me back. So when I first got off that bus, coming from the Marin County Jail, going into San Quentin State Prison, and I had no idea what my life was about to be like, right? I had watched a lot of movies in the past about
Doesn't cover it, does it?
No, man.
There's a whole paragraph in that
Get
now.
off that bus. And they tell you to bend over and cough like you're naked. They tell you to open your mouth after. First, they tell you to lift your genitals, right? And then they insult you by making you put your hands in your mouth and make you open, show them all your teeth. So that's an insult right there. You make me put my hands down here and lift up my genitals and then put them in my mouth. Come on now. So it's totally disrespectful. And then they make you bend over and cough, and you're naked like this. And then all of a sudden they get you dressed and they send you over to another unit and it says no warning shots fired in this unit in red. And you see guards walking around with mini 14 rifles.
Here's the other side of that, just so you know, and I'm loving you, telling you this. I worked in corrections. I worked at, and one time when we had a guy, just telling you the truth, we were showering him out, and when we had him bend over, a .32 automatic hit the shower floor. Do you understand me? Do you understand me? We get scared. And it's not just for your safety, it's for the safety of everybody.
Yeah.
And I remember one of my co-workers, Big Shirley, when I told him, I said, get the sheriff's back up here, and I had bagged the weapon and put it on the thing, and she looked at me and she goes, I go, don't talk. And she goes, tell me not to talk, I'll talk all I want. I was like, she goes, so we're scared.
Yeah.
There are people that do unscrupulous things, man. And just so we know, everything that happens sometimes isn't a sign of disrespect at times, but it's a sign of safety for all. So just making that point clear to you, you're a wise man, and what you want to tell them is, and the impact of this happening is, what do you say to the young people out there, why not to go to that situation?
It's not worth it. It's not, you know, the pain I had, like I talked about earlier, was like seeing families and stuff and kids go by on ferries holding up signs to their families, to their fathers in there. Like, there should not be any day in hell that I want to go back to that misery right now of being a kid, having to ride on a ferry, holding up signs to your dad. Like, come on, man. And for the dads out there that think it's cool to be in gangs and stuff and to be doing all this crazy stuff on the streets, it's not worth it. Like, this is why I try to help these kids before they get to that pipeline to prison.
What's it do to a community, any community, John?
It causes, chaos for sure. I mean, if we're not educated on what it's like in prison, I mean, sometimes the movies and stuff, they tell a great story for young kids. They think it's cool. Like, oh yeah, I can go to prison. Like, this is cool, man.
It's nothing like that, is it?
It's nothing like that. It's nothing like that. You're lonely. It feels like a walking graveyard. Because once you're there, if you don't have family or friends, ain't nobody gonna send you letters. You know, and even if you have family and friends, my family told me you got yourself in that situation, get yourself out. That's what my father told me. You know, and it made great sense to me at the time. But I resented him for that, and it wasn't his fault for telling me that. He cared.
Right.
You know, there's things that happened to me that I wish I would have reached out to someone else sooner.
And now you've become that mentor that kids can talk to. You become that person that helps them artistically describe their suffering, their sorrow, their pain. What has that done for you to lift your heart and your spirit up, you know? I mean, you're a spiritual guy. I mean...
Well, like I say, sneaky therapy, right? So I get my therapy by lifting someone else up, doing something for someone else. Like, even in recovery, the book teaches us, like, to do something for someone else, to get outside of yourself. Go get in someone else's stuff. Right. Go get in someone else's bad day.
Perspective.
Yeah, and flip it, you know. So, I mean, it's not peachy every day for me. Don't get me wrong. Like, I go through things. I feel things. But I'm able to feel things today only because I was, given another chance to get it right.
Wow. Why is it so important for our culture, our communities, to give young women and men a second chance, John?
I feel it's important because, I was given that chance. You know,
and you're making the most out of it.
I was given that chance before. Like, I mean, I talked about it earlier again. Like, that judge that sent me to prison, I thanked him. I thanked him for sending me to prison because he saved the lives of many other people, and including myself.
Attitude of gratitude.
Yes.
What do you think you would be if you had someone in your life like you now, but as a teenager growing up?
Great question.
If you had someone that provided some mentorship in that capacity.
Man, I've always wanted that. Honestly, like I've always wanted it, and I got that a little bit from my pastor who passed away, Pastor Reverend Small in Marin City. I used to,
Oh, Pastor Small.
I used to run up to his church all the time. I used to call him and be like, "Man, I need to come and sing in the choir. I need to sing in the choir." Like I hung on to that church, like as if it was just like, ugh. And then when he passed away, a part of me faded.
Yeah.
You know,
He's still with you,
and I
though.
looked at him as a second father of mine, you know, and he is still with me. And I know he's one of the reasons that I'm pushing so hard. I know my father's looking down on me, you know, and I only wish that they were here to see these miracles happen.
Amen. Amen. They see you. They see you for who you are and who you've become. What's the most important thing you've learned about gratitude?
Just being grateful for every single opportunity that has ever happened to me. Every single thing that's ever happened to me. Like I look at it as if it happened to me for a reason. There's no reason for me to sit here and dwell on the past and say, hey, you know, and keep beating myself up. Yesterday is gone. I am grateful for yesterday. I am grateful for the last 3 seconds.
Why is forgiveness so important to that?
Because it adds strength. Like you know, forgiveness for me has come in the hugest form because I was taught don't go to bed with resentments on your heart. You know, and I was taught that.
Why do you think that's true? You're a smart young man.
It leads to
Stacks up on it.
man, it stacks up for real. It leads to unresolved anger. It leads to going back out there. You know, people relapse over it. You know, we take things out on our kids. We take things out on the community, and we don't have to do that.
Anger past 30 seconds is ego, and the ego is not your amigo. All right. So, what do you say to the folks in the community? Because I want you to talk to them. Yeah. There are a lot of people out here who don't trust you. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. They think this is somebody manipulating the situation. He's taking advantage of it. What do you say to those folks out here who are afraid? You know, and I mean, they're afraid. You know, they're like, oh, why do you trust? You know, no. Why is the second chance and the second opportunity so powerful after the forgiveness? And you have forgiven as much as you've been forgiven.
Right.
Why is it so important?
It's important because, you know, I don't judge a book by its cover today.
There we go.
I don't judge them. I get to know that person. If there was a person that's out there hating on me or whatever, don't understand what I went through to get here, you don't understand the hard work it took for me to get here. You don't know the meetings I went to get here. You don't know the background that I have to get here and the struggle. It is real. Like, I am grateful for every single opportunity that has knocked on my door that I took advantage of because I did not say no to it.
What do you say to the young men in Q right now, or Folsom, or Vacaville, or Corcoran? What do you say to them now about?
Just keep your heads up, man. If you're in prison right now, just look at me. I made it out. I'm an inspiration. I feel in my heart that if I got out of prison and while in prison made these changes to where I didn't have to go back, you could do it too. Like, use your resources when you get out.
So say, don't be afraid.
I used my resources. I knocked on every single door that I had the opportunity to knock on, even when I didn't want to knock on it. And I said, I'm uncomfortable out here on the streets. I'm uncomfortable. Like, I don't feel safe on the streets in my own skin. And that came from me being so used to being in a cell. Because I didn't know what society had. I mean, I went in when we had sky pagers, and I got out and everybody got laptops and, you know, all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So the world changed.
Yes, it did, yeah.
And I wasn't ready for it.
Right. And even in the past year and a half, it's changed because of COVID, you know, and people being more afraid. And folks, fear is the little dark room where negatives are developed. Why is it important for us to not just wait for the light at the end of the tunnel, but become the light going through the tunnel and glow in the dark as we go? Why is that so important?
I think it's important, man. For me, it's like in my heart there was always so much dark, you know, and like when they say that light at the end of the tunnel, like if you really run towards it, like good things will happen to you.
Amen.
Like
Right.
if you wait for that to come to you, sometimes it doesn't come at your own pace.
You got to go towards it
Yeah.
and bring that glow with you, right?
Yeah. And so if people see my light igniting in me, if I ignite the light within myself, it ignites in others because others see like, why is he so damn happy today? Like, what's going on with that kid? And
Yeah.
like they don't understand. Like I am free inside. I am
Right.
free, dude. That's my artist name, Freedom. Like
Right.
people don't understand why that name came about. It came about because I'm free on the inside. I let go of my demons. They're not holding chains around my wrist anymore.
What do you think this means? This is from Dr. Martin Luther King. If you cannot fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl, but keep moving forward. What does that mean to you? Because you've done it.
Take the lashes as they come. Because if you get knocked down, just keep taking lashes. Keep taking them and get up. Like,
Why is it important, that resilience and that
Yeah.
redemptive spirit so important?
It ignited something in me when you just even spoke on it, because Dr. Martin Luther King is one of the most powerful, influential men in American history, like to me, you know, and it's important, man, because I just get emotional by it.
Yeah.
Everything that's happened to me.
That's the spirit word.
When you got out of prison, you started knocking on doors and you started asking for help. How did you know you were, like, what was your first experience of knowing that that was the next right thing to do?
It started when I got out and my parole officer at the time said, hey man, I'm gonna put you back in prison if you can't get a job in X amount of time. And I'm like, what? First off,
You're starting out
telling
in
these on my record. You start,
Yeah.
you starting me out with the fear of threatening
right.
me already. Like you're not starting out with with trying to help me. And so right away, I was already at a disadvantage when I got out of prison. And then I flipped that, right? I flipped it on him. Mm-hmm. So I said, hey, why don't you teach me how to stay out of prison? Teach me how to not make these poor choices because I'm scared to go back.
What did that poor man do
And
then?
so what he did is something really powerful. He gave me a list of resources.
Oh, man.
And with those resources, man, I was calling numbers. And one of those places said, hey, why don't you come in here? And I actually worked for, helping people that get DUIs and stuff. Like they let me, hand out pamphlets and stuff. And so here I was thinking I was big stuff. Like, yeah, I got a job, but it's not a job. I'm not getting money, but it made me feel worth.
Right.
I had a sense of worth. And from there, I was like, man, I could do this. I could do this parole thing.
Do you remember what it felt like when he said yes, or that person said yes that first time?
I wasn't used to him saying yes because I was used to everybody saying no. So when he said yes, I was like, oh my God, did he really just say yes to me?
There's an old line by Admiral Hyman Rickover, if you're going to sin against God, not the bureaucracy, at least God will forgive you. So the point is, our systems need to change. Our systems need to seek inside themselves, look for compassion. I was talking to little kids one day, John, and I said, hey, you don't have to blow someone else's candle out to make sure yours shines brighter. And it was right up behind us at Hamilton School. A second grade girl goes, Mr. Mike, if you do go around blowing out other people's candles and bullying people, you will be the one in the darkness. So profound, It's easier to light a candle than to spend your time blowing it out.
Well, if you light more together, the candle grows bigger and better. And
Ain't
that's
that
what we're all
true?
here for.
Yeah, that's exactly what we started to learn back when you were 16-year-old kid. I started listening to Trevor when we did a school PBS series, Saving Our Schools from Hate and Violence, back in 1999 after Columbine, after all that violence. Violence, folks, violence doesn't have a zip code. It can happen anywhere, anytime, to anybody. And it's really powerful and important to understand that. Rich and poor, young and old, educated, not educated well. Violence does not have a zip code. It can impact all of us. It's why it's important for all of us to find the treasures inside the young women and men that step out of the prison and need our help to come back in and reintegrate and help them in every way we can possibly to help them with their lives. Financially, emotionally, spiritually, everything we can do. And I think sometimes that's why recovery groups are so important, right? Why do you think they're that important, Trev? I mean,
Well, without support of people going through what you're going through, you're alone.
right.
I mean, that was what AA and NA did for me. You know, I started the 90 and 90, and I got through, I think it was 31 days, and something clicked, and I was like, hey, I no longer need to be addicted. Now, I still got problems. I know I'm still an addict. But some
No, you seem so offered perfect to
I'm
me.
totally just don't judge my caffeine intake. You know, but really, it's like, you know, if you don't share your struggles,
Right.
you're all alone. I mean, as a kid, I went through a lot. I was bullied a lot. I never shared my struggles, but I was open about being defiant about why people were bullying me. But I was alone. And not until really, I think it was my senior year, between my junior year and senior year in high school, did I say, fuck it. I'm just going to tell you how I feel.
Right.
And something like changed dramatically in that year. And, you know, and it goes back to why we're doing what we're doing now. It's like, without putting out your stories out to the world for people to hear, for people to latch onto, you're all alone. And it goes back to the candle. The more we all connect, the more we put our brains together, our flames together, our hearts together, the more we can do together than we could ever do on our own.
So here we are again, 21 years later, and you're doing, I know, we're doing what, with John, what I did with you. And you guys are impressive, and I'm honored to be in the room with you. Because, as you said, if you don't share your struggles, folks, nobody knows your pain. And we should all try and create that vulnerability from the anxieties that we have around each other, because then we get better, we get more well. And that means talking to mom and pop, that means talking to your teachers, that means talking to your teachers about your differences, that means talking to the people in the community, your bosses, your managers, your supervisors, the police officer who might pull you over. Say, hey, having a rough day. What I've been trying to teach neurodiverse young people is go, hey, officer, I process things differently. I am a neurodiverse person. I process things differently. Please explain to me without screaming and help me understand what you need from me in a way that I can help and not make me frightened. And if we can do that and teach that, I promise everybody out there, I promise you, because we can't make our cops mental health experts. We can't make our correctional officers mental health experts. That's a separate entity that we have to help encourage and give our complete compassion to, so that our folks have access to what they need to do. Why is compassion a word that you exude now, and you have truly, I mean, you've learned self-compassion, haven't you?
Yeah, most definitely. I flip compassion all the time into empathy. Like for myself, like I flip it for others. Like I try to put myself in someone else's shoes today. I try to visualize what it's like to walk in their shoes on a daily basis and try to say, hey, okay, that person has had a struggle that I don't want to go through, but I know how to help them.
You meet them where they're at.
Yeah, all I have to do is ask them, like, what got you here?
What did it help you to do today in this sanctuary where we can speak of these things? What did it do? This is a church, a sanctuary, a chapel, to the gift of sharing your heart, your spirit, your soul. What did that do for you today, thinking about it,
It
John?
made me feel safe. It made me know that there was a...
And you shared like you were
support.
safe too, John.
Oh, yeah. You know, I had a lot of stuff happen to me as a kid, you know, and still as an adult that I haven't healed from completely. I haven't fully stepped out, I still seek outside help today. I still seek therapy.
Adverse childhood
Yeah.
experiences, the ACEs.
There was trauma
Yeah.
that happened to me. There's still trauma related to the experiences I had in prison. You know, there's trauma, and without the correct guidance and without the correct support team behind me, I don't think that I would be afloat right now. But I know one thing: when I'm out there helping these youth, that's the one thing that keeps me afloat today, is because I turned that pain that I had into saving them so that they don't have to make the same poor choices that I
We,
did.
we pulled the fuse out of the stick of dynamite,
And so
right?
part of what we talk about our internship is, teaching people to put their hands out in front of their
Smart
face, so
guy,
when they
buddy.
fall flat on their face, they at least have the experience of falling on their face
Right.
before. So when that happens in life, it's not the first time.
Right.
It won't hit. You won't hit hopefully as hard.
Yep.
Right? I think there's so many. Again, like I just go back to, we connected yesterday, and it feels like we're lifelong friends. Our missions are very similar, and I know we're looking forward to our whole team who's met you today and embarked with
Yeah.
you today is like, thrilled. We're like, all right,
What a morning we had, huh? I
yeah,
mean,
no
there
kidding.
was
that was
a
awesome.
tutorial
So we
in wisdom.
we've got to wrap up today because
Right.
if you believe it or not, it's probably been closer to 45 minutes. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look at that. My timing's pretty good. So we got to wrap up. We went pretty deep. We went
Yeah.
pretty real, which is what this is all about. I'm you're probably gonna hate me for this, but give me some upbeat. Give me some of your music, man. Do something for me because I know you've got something bumping back there that you want to share. And we got to end it on a fun high note. Can I ask that of you? Is that too much?
I don't know you was gonna do this.
I didn't know I was going to
I had no
either.
idea
I
you
was
was gonna do
literally
that.
trying to
Yeah,
wrap
it's
it up.
all right.
I thought, you know what sounds needed right now?
If I could grab my laptop real quick or my phone or something
Your
real
phone?
quick.
I'm sorry, but we got to have some fun.
Let's see.
Good.
And everyone out there watching, thank you very much for your patience in working through our technical issues. We were having so much fun today. Right now, I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people at Desire to Inspire Studios Foundation right now. We just onboarded. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, give me 10 more seconds of delay. We just onboarded 6 new interns from our School to Career program today, and everybody is learning. We're learning, and we're all here. We've got an in-studio audience, which is, I think, a first. So, John, now that I put you on the spot, no pressure. Do you want to take it away? And you don't have to do a whole thing. Just give us a little something.
Well, actually, I kind of don't want to sing right now,
All right,
but
don't
can
do
I
it.
give
Whatever
them a
you-
link?
Yeah,
A link.
that's fine.
All right.
That's fine.
I did have an opportunity. I could play it but I don't know how good it'll sound in the audio right here. Right?
Just give it a whirl. Give it 10 seconds or something like that. You can't get out of it, man. We got to hear something. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter how crappy the audio is. We delayed technically for 5 minutes because we couldn't get our visual. So.
All right. So this is.
That's perfect.
Things ain't the way that they used to be. I say things aren't the way that they used to be. 'Cause people change every day. Like the wind when it's blowing in your face. I can't complain, no one to blame. It takes so much inside of me to walk away. I wake up black up in this skin. I'm never trying to pretend I don't see color. I need my brothers, one human.
So
Cut it.
tell me. What does that mean to you right there? That song. Singing that right now. Put it in the spot.
So-
Sharing that with the world.
Cut it. I get emotional about that. When George Floyd was murdered, I flew to Minneapolis, and I got an opportunity to shoot a music video at the spot where he had the knee put on the back of his neck. And oh man, shit, I'm tore up right now because of this. You put me on the spot. I'm all sweating and stuff.
Yeah, you are. I got nothing for you either.
I tried to find the right song for this whole little thing that I've been through, and the lyrics in that song for me, towards the end of the song, in the second verse, I talk about how in order to move on in life, we have to forgive, right? We have to learn to forgive, not completely close the door on what happened in the past, right? But we need to forgive. And I don't know what that looks like, what forgiveness looks like, but I know what it feels like.
Oh, but you do.
Yeah.
Oh, but you do.
It comes out in my music, and it comes out in the person that I am, you know,
Right.
that I feel that I'm becoming every day.
Yeah.
And, you know, some of these words that I write, man, I'm just like, damn, how did that come to me? Out of nowhere, you know, because I do have a gift to tune others in. And I do have a gift
What a
to
line.
help change the world if I use it. If I use my voice in the right way, I feel as though I have something that needs to be done in this world. And someone told me recently, she said, don't stop singing. Don't ever stop writing. Don't ever stop giving up on these
Yes.
kids. And most of all, don't give up on yourself.
Right.
Because I used to be suicidal. I'm just putting that
Right.
out there. And it all came from me wanting to give up on life. And, you know, my nephew recently shot himself in the head. You know, these are reasons why I continue to push and give these youth something to do, fun to do in the community. Because if we completely shut them out, we shut ourselves out too when something happens to them.
This young man, when he just said, I have a gift to tune others in, tune into this, folks. Be the medicine for a better world. If you've lost into anger and resentment, forgive yourself, forgive others. Find a way home. And as Trevor and I have pointed out on We Are the Remedy, we are the medicine. We are, you know, the old white guy. Folks, take care of each other out there. Love each other. And help others. That's the answer. Be the medicine.
And
Thank you.
John Wallace,
Good man.
Surviving the Odds Project, We Are the Remedy, Desire to Inspire Studios Foundation. We're all people helping people, man. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for being
Yeah,
here.
thank you very
Remember,
much.
everyone, to go out,
Appreciate you.
share a
Love you,
compliment, share a smile with someone, make someone's day, and obviously don't forget to subscribe to whatever channel you're watching this on or the others that we have, because we got to get better about asking that.
Yeah.
And you'll be seeing a lot more of John, because this is only the beginning.
Yeah.
This is only day one
Yeah.
of this relationship. I can't tell you how excited I am. So,
Family now.
yeah, your family.
Rod just said he family now. Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
All right, everyone, have a great
All right.
day, and thank you very much. And tune in next week for Thursday's Donuts for Breakfast, and We Are the Remedy. And man,
Thank you.
All good stuff.
thank you, John.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank
John.
you.